Another night, another great two episodes from The Last Dance. And I guess the one thing I want to talk about it, and I hope that it's real quick, but and I'm glad they talked about it, especially, I believe this is episode 5. It's been so long. I'm pretty sure it's episode 5. But they was talking about Jordan and the whole Republicans buy sneakers too. Now, here's the thing: I will understand that Jordan was the biggest thing in the '90s. It was just that's where in the words of Biggie, I go like Mike, anyone, Tyson, Jackson, Jordan. Like Mike was just the biggest name, me as a Bulls fan was just like some no shit, no shit. But I always hear about this when it comes to Michael Jordan and the politics and the whole thing. Like a lot of black people not messing with him, and they always bring it back to Republicans buy shoes. So they actually addressed that, and Michael actually addressed that, and it's like what I've been saying all this time, and it was I don't think, and my whole thing was like, what if Mike don't want to do politics? What if Mike's not into politics? What if he just want to play basketball? And that's what it was. To me, it was like, because I understand, like, yes, you have your heroes like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is a hero of mine, but Muhammad Ali, he was always in the politics. He was always in the civil rights and all that other stuff. And to tell you the truth, it's a different era. Like, I can understand, like, Muhammad Ali and his fight for civil rights, but that was also in a different era. The 90s, I would say the 90s was, in my opinion, the peak of black excellence. I don't care what anybody say. And like even when we got like as much millionaires right now, I feel like when it comes to the 90s, the peak that was the peak of black excellence, and I don't feel like we haven't gotten back to that peak where a bunch of young black entrepreneurs made their names, from the Spike Lees to the basketball players like Mike, and any of the Mikes, Tyson, Jackson, Jordan, a lot of black celebrities, a beautiful black female celebrities and actresses and all that other stuff, a bunch of black TV shows. It's like, to me, the 90s is like, to me, the peak of black excellence. And if anybody asks me if you would go back, where would you go back to? I would easily say the 90s. I know a lot of people say the 70s, but I think the 90s really. So it's also a different time. So with that being said, I've always looked at Mike, and if you go his career, you never seen him endorse anybody. You never see, anytime you speak out on politics, you never hear him speak out on politics. And he was, to me, he was just like, yes, I know he was like a big name, but since you don't see him out there with the politics, it's just, all right, he's just a basketball player. And he said that. He was like, I never looked at myself as and I'm paraphrasing. I never looked at myself as a politician nor activist. I just looked at myself as a basketball player, and it's just all about his craft. I think a lot of people like, and tell you the truth, if he was and this is no shade to the guy that was running and North Carolina. To me, this is just a personal thing. I don't think it's like you shouldn't need, if you was that good, probably shouldn't. And you know what? I'm not getting into that because politics and white supremacy and all that other stuff. So, but like, I felt like Michael shouldn't have got the blame for that. And he said it too. I said, I don't feel like I should apologize. I said that in jest. In jest. It's like, how many times have we had conversations? How many times have we as men had conversations and all that stuff? Sometimes we're joking and all that shit, or we're not that serious, and people just like, you say something, all of a sudden it just gets out of hand and all that stuff. I've seen that happen a million times. And this happened with Mike. So I feel like a lot of LeBron fans is trying to like um, use this, to say how LeBron's a better GOAT than Mike. To me, it's had nothing. It's like LeBron wants to be an activist. Michael just wanted to play basketball, like, and that's how I see it. If LeBron, like, everything, and this is, I've always been basketball wise. I've always hated LeBron. Like, I'm a Bulls fan still to this day. So I grew up hating LeBron and all that other stuff. Outside of basketball, LeBron's probably one of the greatest human beings ever lived, and I just wanted to put that on wax because I know I say it all the time. I basketball hate LeBron. Outside of basketball, LeBron's the greatest human being ever. Just like how Stephen A. Smith said. But at the same time, LeBron chose to be in an activist role. He chose to be, the whole I care thing. Starting a school and all the other stuff. I think that's wonderful and that's amazing and all that other stuff. I feel like Jordan couldn't do that, but I don't think it's selfish. If anything, I think it's like he knows his place. Like I'm just like in all, I just want to play basketball. If that's all you want to do. I just want to play basketball. Want to be good at my craft and all that other stuff. Like everything. Like I know he's the GM in basketball now because he loves basketball so much. He wants to be around it. So I feel like everything he's done is a basketball move. So politics is not really a basketball move. So, people try to put sports and politics away from each other because a lot of people feel like sports and politics don't mix. So with that being said, I felt like the whole Republicans buy sneakers thing, it was just unfair to Michael. And like, I know a lot of people was just like, I'm not into politics. I know, like, and then it's funny that, people's giving a shit about it because, when somebody gets into politics, they tell him to stay in his own place and all that other shit. Like, look, it's not my thing. And to me, it's just like, it's not my thing. So I always like defending Michael on people. It's like, he could have helped the black community. Look, that's probably nice, but all you want to do is play basketball. What people do for his shit, that's not his fault. And it's really not. Because, like, you can't, like, you can make them affordable. I feel like even if you made Jordans affordable, people would still rob niggas for them Jordans. But, you're like, nobody ever gets on, like, if you wearing a Versace suit and all that other shit, and niggas know that's real Versace, I feel like niggas will run up on you too. So, it's a lot of things in going on with. So, in conclusion, I never cared for that Republicans buy sneakers, but I'm glad he addressed it. And it's everything I said. He's not a politician. He was a basketball player. And and that's where he kept it at. So, like, and he also said, maybe I'm not the person you should be looking up to when it comes to that. There's other black leaders, which Malcolm X and Dick Gregory have been saying. We shouldn't be looking at these celebrities to be, for things like that. You should be looking at people that's actually in that field. So, with that being said, good ass documentary. They touched everything. The gambling, Jordan, talk about Jordan being a jerk and all that other stuff, how his competitive nature and all that other stuff, and even as because I was born in New York, so my father's a Knicks fan, so I know me being a Bulls fan sometimes irk him. Even though Knicks are like my second favorite team and all that other stuff, if I'm really honest, the Knicks are like my second favorite team. Like I still like look up, keep in touch with like Knicks news or some shit like that. But let's be real, I'm a Bulls fan to the day I die. But keep watching. But I love Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, I feel like is one of the top 5 center. He's my top 5 center of all time. I think Patrick Ewing is better than a lot of people say it was, but I feel like you gotta win that because he didn't win a ring. I think he gets overlooked, but Patrick Ewing was a dog. So let me just end this before it gets to like 10 minutes. In conclusion, this documentary is great. So I'm loving this documentary. And as far as Republicans don't buy sneakers, he's kind of right. Republicans do. I mean, like everybody loves Michael, and he's just not a politician. He's not an activist. He's just what he wanted to be, a basketball player, someone that was good at his craft. So I think, as I've always thought that like people harping on this is really stupid. So with that being said, my name is Oskino Fly, and I'm out. Peace. I can't wait for next week.